Again, good evening. Listen, we're getting ready to talk about some powerful information tonight. And again, the name of this call is the Power of Six. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Power of Six, the Power of Six is simply a duplicatable system of enrolling six partners in order to maximize the binary comp plan, the binary plan and matching bonuses. Now, I may get a chance to go over this system tonight. Not sure if we're going to have enough time because we have some powerful information to share, but that information is available and recorded all over YouTube, okay? So, but listen, you guys, I've talked about a subject matter before. Let me move this screen. Okay, the screen is just stuck. Okay, there. I've talked about this before. You know, we have a powerful business that we're working here with LifeWave. And you know, when you think about it, we have everything we need, you guys. First of all, I want to talk about the sizzle. You know, our testimonies are so strong that you can literally count on every single day hearing quote unquote a miracle. I just heard one tonight on Wednesday night call. When you have that type of product that can generate the types of testimonies that we hear, there is no reason that all of us are not winning. The company has done has done an incredible job with the patents, etc. And then the stake is the company and the comp plan. You see, our company is solid. We are the fastest growing company in the world in network marketing. And the comp plan is very robust. You will start experiencing that as you start building your team. So that's the stake. That's the foundation that we're standing on. The smoke. You know, we just talked about the business for home, you know, just saying that we're the fastest growing home-based business in the world, the reviews that we're getting, it's just amazing. And that's the smoke. And then the secret sauce. The secret sauce is you and the duplication process. If you do not insert yourself into this formula, and do not duplicate everything that you're supposed to duplicate, you're not going to benefit. You know, we can, you know, train, coach. You got to be consistent. You have to share this information. I want to say this real quick before we even go any further than that with regard to the call I was just on, and it almost brought me to tears because this lady had a heart murmur that she had all her life, and she's going on 80 years old. She said it became a joke because all her life, everybody knew she had a heart murmur, and the doctor said she had a heart murmur. So long story short, she didn't want to try the patch. She didn't figure it would do anything for her, but she did. And when she moved to another state, which was Washington, they told her that she went to 4 doctors. They said she did not have a heart murmur anymore. Here she is 80 years old. Well, her sister, shortly after that, had some type of surgery. I think they clipped something with a vein or something, and it was nothing they could do about it. And something else was going on. She was falling and hurting herself, but it was really bad. Whatever was going on with her, doctor said they couldn't help her. This lady sold her car. So she said she didn't have any money. She sold her car to get her sister a $500, an advance pack, which is $500. And, you know, we have such a hard time getting people to even buy the core, but somebody that shows you her belief level. But then she goes on to say something that she didn't even believe in as far as doing it first. She goes on to say, I know so many people that really need this. She wasn't doing it. She wasn't talking from a standpoint of the money. She was talking about just helping some people. In other words, this 80-year-old woman is about to duplicate this. She's about to start making money because she's going to probably bring the right people on. And the last thing I want to say about that, when she was saying the $500 package, and you know, that's just a way some people think, you know, go ahead and get the top package, but many of us will barely get the core. Okay, I just wanted to make that comment. Okay, I don't know why my computer keeps sticking. Okay, now, so we've already talked about the other ingredients, you guys. Now we're going to talk about the bread and butter. And in definition, bread and butter refers to something that is essential, basic, or provides the main source of income or livelihood. It's often used to describe the core aspect of a person's job, a business, or what sustains them financially. Think about this. if you were working a job, you know, if you happen to be working on a job, and all of a sudden your paycheck from your employee was zero 1 month, I mean, you would go berserk, okay? And so that, because that is your bread and butter. If you don't have money coming in, how are you going to pay your bills? What if your Social Security drops significantly 1 month? For some reason, the government decided they were just going to take $500 off your Social Security. Many people rely on every dime that comes from Social Security. So I'm trying to give you some examples of what bread and butter, what we mean by bread and butter. It's essential. You need this money, right? So this is where we come to the part, what I want to talk about is this monthly subscription. You guys, the monthly subscription is our bread and butter. It solidifies the volume generated by the points. In other words, if you're not on a monthly subscription, if you're not on auto ship, you might as well say, okay, just take the points back, because they're going to go away. They're going to flush. Don't even take any chances on not setting up an auto ship. And I'm just saying this because I want to give an example. I do have teammates that they'll say things like, well, I know I'm going to place my order before the week, before the, you know, when it's time. But if you, I mean, anything can happen, because people sometimes wait all the way to midnight or almost midnight on a Sunday night and don't do it. And then I know personally, I've experienced where the system is under maintenance a lot of times. That time anything can happen. Your computer could go. My computer went out one time. You never know. Don't take a chance. It's not worth it. Okay. Generates and sustains residual income. The residual that you're going to get, we're talking about bread and butter now. The residual that you're going to get every week is coming from the monthly subscriptions. In other words, the binary, every single person that joins and every single time they place an order every month on their month, that goes into the binary. So this is, the monthly subscription is what's generating and sustaining. In other words, you can count on this residual if it's consistent. Facilitates back office inquiries, active versus auto ship. Now, what I mean by that is this: I studied the back office quite a bit. I mean, I'm sometimes people say, well, we're trying. I was talking to someone yesterday. Oh, we're really trying. And I looked at the you know, the person's organization, and immediately found all she needed to do was activate one person on her right, which she, you know, has a person. And then the person who's trying to get manager under her to help her get a director just needs one person. And she's got 3 people that are potential candidates that she's been talking to, but she couldn't figure it out. But when you have when you go into the back office and you see that there's not that little circle, look like a half circle under somebody, that means they're not on auto ship. They might be on a maintenance pack. A lot of times people get the maintenance pack, and then because they have a maintenance pack, for those of you who don't know what a maintenance pack is, a maintenance pack is when you decide, instead of placing my order every month, I'm going to get a package. Like they have maintenance packs for 3 months or 6 months. You always want to make sure the maintenance pack that you get has at least 110 points, because if you ever hit manager, you won't get paid as a manager unless you have 110 points. But when I'm looking in there and I don't see the circle, I'm assuming that person is not even active at all. So now I got to go into their profile. That's too much time. Whereas if I saw the auto ship, now I can eliminate that person and keep going till I can figure out. That's what I mean by, and I'm saying this from a person who's a studious person. You may not be studious, but I am. And when I'm looking at this, the auto ship helps me, you know, when it comes to inquiries. Maintains team spirit, secures confidence regarding rank and income. You see, it's kind of, you know, that's one thing I like about this call and the people that get on this call, because it's like we're pulling together. We all want to win. When you have people on your team that are not coachable and they say, well, I don't feel like doing the auto ship. Well, first of all, that's fine, but that just lets you know, well, that's not the you know, you want to help everybody, but you really don't feel good about helping somebody who doesn't even help the team. So when they don't do auto ship, to me, it's saying, I'm not playing team, bottom line. Okay. Now, and I've got a couple of guests I want to ask, you know, to share some information with you, but I want to say this: how do auto ships affect the binary commissions? So a person like say for example, if a person's not on, you were manager at one point, and then all of a sudden somebody's authorship doesn't go through, or they're not even on authorship. They signed up this month, you hit manager, and then next month they're not, person's not active. You're not gonna be manager, right? So it can be the difference between maxing out the binary at $100 and 50, and 1,500. In other words, if you're not a manager, the most you can make in the binary, or your binary commissions per week, is $100. But if you're a manager, you can make 1,500. I have literally had conversations with people this past week who, it looked like they were going to be able to, earn 1,500 as a manager. And because something needed to be tweaked, I mean, we knew they was going to exceed that and possibly go to director. And so so for director, you can earn up to 2,500, but if you're at manager, you're going to only earn 1,500. For senior directors, it's the difference between 2,500 and 3,500. And every single thing that I'm talking about here is in regards to if somebody falls out of the structure. In other words, let me see if I can find this. I hope I got this chart. See, you see this is the structure for manager, 4 people. If, let's say if you're a director, you got a manager on your left, a manager on your right, you have personally enrolled 3 people on your left, and you've enrolled 3 people on your right, but one of those people on your left and one of those people on your right are managers. If one person in that person's manager goes inactive, you're no longer director. You could be manager, but you cannot be director. So let me go back. If you were director, you could earn up to 20. And I'm saying this because there are people on our team that are earning this kind of money. One person goes out of the sequence, and now that person is limited to 1,500 because now they're manager. Do you see what I'm saying now? Let one person go inactive and you're no longer receiving somewhere up to 2,500 that week. Okay. So as you see, here's the chart, part of the comp plan. If you are not a manager, you can max out at $100 a week. You can max out at 1,500 as a manager, 25 as a director, all the way up. All of this is under downloads in the this is it team.com website under downloads. Okay. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to stop because at first I want to have somebody to come on just real quickly, Miss Renee McCray, because Renee, I was talking to her earlier today. Miss Renee, are you on the call?
I'm on.
There she is. Yes. Can you please solidify what I just said and show these people when you first got started, you was rocking and rolling, and tell them how you was a manager and all this money you were making, and you purposely tell them why you did what you did so they can understand.
Okay. So thanks for having me on the call. I'm just going to embarrass myself, but hopefully you can learn from my mistakes because, I was in a position where I thought I understood what I was doing, and I was getting my structure right so that my money would be right, but my money was coming. Okay, so let me just explain. We have 2 legs, right? We have a team leg and we have a pay leg. We have the team leg they call a power leg. The pay leg, that's the leg that you don't get any help on that leg. You have to build that. You have to build your team. You have to, like, okay. So we had talked a lot about recruiting, okay, and team building. There's 2 different things, but they're both very necessary. And it's really good if you can do both. You should try to do both. I mean, you should try, you need to do both. And I was good at recruiting. I recruited a lot of people. But I was also good at team building because I was working with the people. I was doing 3-ways. I was doing launch Zooms. I was going down where they say root, tap root, where you go down underneath and you help people. And I was doing calls like this call right here. And you have a call where you know, people are getting on the calls, they're telling each other to get on the calls. And so sometimes you meet people that you don't even know who they are, but they're in your team. And so, but because you're on calls together every week, you become more affiliated with them, more, you feel more comfortable with. So people would call me and say, Renee, could you do a three-way for me? Renee, could you, you know, explain da 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 for me? Renee, could da da da. And I want to bring, you know, I want to buy something, but I know you said don't buy it under yourself. If you can, if you want to get your points that week, you want to put it under somebody else that's underneath you. You can put money under someone else, get your own product, but you just put it somewhere else. It helps that person become active. And now, boom, they're getting checks and you getting a check too. And they might even upgrade them or something. I mean, you know, it just depends on how you do it, but you can wind up getting a check for an upgrade, a check for an extra binary. You can, and then you can, so, and then it's just your check that you're getting for your own product. And it helps someone who's might be on having hard times that week or that month or whatever. But anyway, so I talk about a lot of those kinds of things, just like Verdita talks about all of that stuff here on this call too. And so, you know, I was doing it all, but where I made my mistake is on my pay leg, my power leg, which is the leg where if you're lucky, you will have a lot of help on that side. You know, people will be coming in and it's a flurry of activity and you're like, oh, well, I don't have to put anybody over there because that's doing well. I must just stay over here on this side. And so I had, you know, a couple of people over there because I know you have to have 2 on the left, 2 on the right. That's personally sponsored, right? Then you also have to make manager, you're going to have 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Yeah, right. But on manager, you have to have 2 on the right, 2 on the left, and then you have to have their 110. Right. But when you make director, you have to have 2 managers, 1 manager on the left, 1 manager on the right. In addition to your 2 on the left, 2 on the right, you have to have a manager on the right, manager on your left. And you keep your 110, of course. The thing was that and what Verdita said something earlier, she was talking to me or she was talking on this call. She said something about one of your managers in your power. Well, see, that's assuming you put more than one person over there and you work with that person. So that was the problem. I had a person over there, they were determined to become a manager. I was working with them. That was great. They became manager. I became director. That was fine. But unfortunately, that person passed away. So when that person passed away, he was a really good friend of mine. I mean, it took me, you know, it took a toll on me just physically, you know, emotionally, spiritual, everything, you know, because he was a really good friend of mine for like 30 something years. And but financially it took a toll on me because that was my manager over there. So now I didn't have a manager on the left and a manager on the right. I only had a manager on the right. I actually had 2 directors on the right. But I did, because I never really gave focus to the left, I only had that 1 manager. So now it's like, now you're scrambling because now you're trying to find somebody else who wants to be a manager, somebody else that's gonna do the recruiting, someone who's going to do the team building, someone who's going to, you know what I'm saying? It's now playing catch up. So I think if anything that I could share is to, you know, how when Steve Merritt always says 20 on the left, 20 on the right, I didn't follow that advice because I saw so many people on the left. I didn't think I needed 20 on the left and 20 on the right. I didn't think I needed to have more than 1 manager because when you become a director, when you become senior director, you can have 2 directors and they don't have to be on the left and the right. They could be on one side. So mine were already on one side. So I really wasn't thinking about that. Think about it. That's all I can say.
Well, the part I wanted you to talk about was how you were making all this money. That's the point I was making as a
Oh, I'm
manager.
sorry.
And don't take any more than 2 more minutes because I got another speaker that
I don't, okay, so, okay, so, all right.
in
So,
other words, you as a manager, you were one of those people that was making up to 1,500 a week as a
Right.
manager.
Mhm.
That's the point I'm trying to get across to everybody because I just pointed
Because,
out that
you
I was
know,
just
because I got excited. I was doing all the things. I mean, I was steady signing people up. I was steady doing the team building thing, and I was watching my numbers too. You know what I'm saying? You got to watch your numbers. You got to be in that back office. And Verdita knows better than I about the back office. But at that time, I mean, my money started coming right away. Like I just told some people, they came in, they jumped in. One came in with 900 something. You know, we had something called platinum at that time.
And you
And
know
so,
what, Joe, what I'm hearing you say is that you all were moving fast. And
right.
that is so important. You got to success loves speed. You got to do it
Right.
fast. I mean, I've seen you on the road going to different cities. I mean, this girl right here, I talked about it before. Everywhere I would go, I would see her. She came to Fayetteville, North Carolina. I mean, she was just going everywhere. So listen, y'all.
Right. And I mean, I even went to this little town, Asbury Park, Neptune, and it wasn't even my team. It was Mike Hernandez was speaking. And I was supposed to be leaving with my husband on Sunday to go to North Carolina. And he said, okay, let's go. And I said, no, but Mike Hernandez is speaking tomorrow night in Neptune. And he was like, so what you saying? I said, well, I'm gonna stay and go to that, and then we can leave after that. He was like, no, I'm leaving now. So he drove his car and he left to go from New York to North Carolina. I stayed. The next night I went to this little thing in Asbury Park because I have two friends down there. They used to be with me in another business, and I wanted them to see this business. And it's a 2-hour drive, but I didn't care. And I drove down there, took a friend with me.
And that's why you were making so much money.
Because
So
I was running and I was committed. So you have to be committed. You have to be committed. Like, and he's not,
you got to pay the price.
not even in my team, but I know he's amazing. So I just wanted to see, I want to see more and more. And then he was in Atlanta. I came to Atlanta. I want to see more. I want to talk to him straight up. How much you making? How long you been in? I was asking those questions. I was hungry. I was hungry.
So this is a person that I just wanted you all to hear from, that while she was ranked as a manager, she was earning, might have made more if you were a director, but you maxed out at 15. And then this, I remember having that conversation with you and you said, I got to get to director because it's holding me back. So listen, you guys, managers only 4 people. It's just about just continue to build and work with the people you got. So thank you so much, Renee, for always sharing some wonderful information. But I have another guest on the call. I hope she's here because I didn't see her name. Miss Jessica Scott, are you there, Jessica?
I'm here.
Okay, great. Listen, you guys, I want to introduce Jessica to you as well. Jessica is a director out of the Houston area, it's Houston area, and she is very knowledgeable, in my opinion. She is an occupational therapist. I'll let her tell more about, can you share a little bit more about what you do and why I feel that you empower me when I speak to you. And because we're going to get to this part about the subscription. Okay, so tell us the process and tell us a little bit more about staying on the patch, all that stuff you told me. Okay.
Okay. First of all, Renita, thank you for inviting me on tonight. And I'm feeling all of Renee's energy. Love her. So I have been using, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And I can see you too. Okay.
Okay, very well. Okay. So I've been using the patch for about 8 months now. I learned about the patch 2 years ago. My son played basketball overseas in Australia, started him with the patch. Patch was doing fine. And then last year I fell and picked the patch up again, slapped it on my knee. And that's when I started digging in a little bit deeper into all the benefits that this patch does. So I'm a home health occupational therapist assistant. I've been covering all of Houston for about 20 years. So at first I was a little bit apprehensive about discussing the patch with some of my patients because, again, I'm not the doctor and you have to be very careful with that. But I've taken the approach that this is a wellness patch. It has no medication in it, no stimulants in there. So, started talking to patients, family members about it, and it has just taken off. And what I did, because I was noticing that when I was signing people up, they were either, first of all, they were wanting me to give them a couple samples. I was giving samples. I was giving 5 patches, 7 patches, and we are all different. The patch takes a different time for all of us to start feeling the effects of it. So I was finding that stop giving out patches. LifeWave stands behind the patch. Order the patch. If you don't like it, after 90 days, they will give you your money back. So just, stick in there, because you'll hear some, they'll say, oh, after 2 weeks, I didn't feel nothing. You told me, or that testimony said that that person felt something within a week. We all have a different DNA makeup, so we're all going to feel things at a different time. So moving forward, I do not give out patches anymore. I do not give out sleeves anymore. I allow them to purchase it. LifeWave stands behind the patch. That's the first thing I did. But then also, when you're talking to your client, find out what's going on. Why do they want to use a patch? Because as things start to change, they're going to forget they're going to forget, oh, I had some inflammation in my knee, or I had some pain here. So I have a little book and I started writing down what they're saying. Oh, let's discharge that. Sorry about that. Oh, decline.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Someone
Okay.
that keeps trying to interrupt
Something
me.
happened. I hope we didn't lose Jessica. Let me see. Because her name wasn't on there. I think she was having problems with her iPad. She'll be back. I know there was 2 Zoom users, and I think that's her, but you definitely want to hear what she's got to say because it's going to help you with these monthly subscriptions. So she's probably got to log back in. And I'm hoping you all are enjoying this call because it's getting ready to get good. See.
Hey, Bridita, it's Josh. Yes, I'm definitely enjoying the call. Thank you very much for setting it
Thank
up.
you, Josh. Thank you, Josh. We
Vegeta, I am back. I lost
Okay.
power there.
Oh, wow. Okay, I
Yeah.
hope it's gonna work this time, but thank you so much. Come on. So you were talking about how you
Okay.
wrote the notebook.
Yes. Okay. So what I started doing, I had to literally jump on my phone here. I started writing down what everyone's saying. So you tell me you have some inflammation. You tell me you have some fatigue. Things are going to start to change. So I write everything down. But also, instead of ordering 3X39s, because that's a typical package, I now customize the package. If you have a lot of pain, I'm going to actually incorporate maybe 2 ice waves in there. Also, if this person is in the gym all the time, instead of doing 2X39s and an ice wave, let's do a 39, a 49, and 2 ice waves. If you're having some issues with maybe memory, instead of the 2X39s, let's do a 39 in Eon and 2 ice waves. It doesn't always have to be 3X39s. And that way also, they stay on auto because I'm finding I was losing a lot of my clients. They sign up, they get 3X39s, then they go in because I tell them at any time, you can go in and deselect auto. Well, they do. They do. And then what happens is they do not come back. So moving forward, if you don't need the X49 or the Eon, I'm not going to suggest it. But I'm finding that most all of us, there's something else out there. Even the women, Alavita. I love the Alavita. Everybody wants some more collagen. Some people have been taking melatonin at night. Instead of taking melatonin, let me give you an X39 and an Alavita and an ice wave. So I'm just tweaking. I'm learning my clients. I'm learning how this business is going, and it's working.
Tell us about the patient. I think you said someone that had Parkinson. And
Oh
what
yeah.
them?
Oh yeah. Okay. This particular person has Parkinson's, and not only does she have Parkinson's, she also has depression. So if you start digging into what's going on with Eon or even the glutathione, there is a component in there that helps with serotonin in the brain. So now she is not only on the X39, but I'm also giving her the glutathione, which it says in the patch, it's called Patch EDU. You can put it right behind your ear. So she's been my patient for about 7 months now. She's been on the patch for 2 months. And in the last 2 months, she has literally went from lying down, unable to get up on her own, to now moving around, sitting up on the edge of bed independently, going from sit to stand, holding onto her rolling walker independently, ambulating in the home independently. And as of last week, I actually helped her take a bath. She stepped into the shower. This is something she had not done in a year. So again, this is the X39, and instead of taking Zoloft, she's using the Eon. The Eon is known as the happy patch. Well, it's working.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's awesome. And one more thing, because I want to see if anyone has a question to ask you, because one of the reasons I wanted Jessica to come on is because of being an occupational therapist. One of my colleagues, and now I can't even remember who it was, that had a patient, I mean, they were talking to a doctor of physical therapy. And that
Mhm.
doctor was concerned about how is he going to, recommend these patches to his patients because he's used to prescribing medication. And
Correct.
can you share how what you said there? Because some people may talk to doctors or physical therapists or whatever, and explain to them how you address that.
Sure, I will. I actually met with a physician about 3 weeks ago, and he had some of the same concerns, but this is coming from a wellness approach. So when you tell them there's no stimulant, there's no medication in this patch, it's non-transdermal, you don't even need to be a doctor to even suggest this. So there's no way that you can really get in trouble with your license because there's no stimulant. This is all phototherapy. And again, I was taking the approach of only talking to the family members because I was a little bit apprehensive about, oh, should I talk to the patient about it? And now I've become more confident that this is just a wellness patch and it's just activating stem cells in your body through photolight.
And you are signing up people left and right.
I am fine. Let me tell you, Verdita, my youngest person now is 10 years old on the patch who has ADHD, getting prepared for a lot of testing. And mom really wanted the patch so that he can kind of sit in the classroom, be controlled. My oldest person is 100 years old. So
Mm.
my youngest is 10 and my oldest is 100, and they're both experiencing really good benefits from the patch.
Well, I
Yeah.
tell you, I can understand why they feel confident working with you because you're so articulate and confident. And you guys, before you know it, Jessica will be a senior director. She's right there. She's got the volume. It's just a matter of that structure. But thank you
It's
so much
that.
for sharing. But
And
listen,
Verdita, may I add one other thing?
Mhm, mhm.
Follow up with everyone. When we get all excited, we sign people up, we call them, did you get your patch? You start looking to see, follow up with them as well. I do that. I'll do it every in 2 weeks, and I do it again in a month. And then I even say, so how's your finger? And they said, what? I said, because when I met you, you said you had some pain. So don't leave them. We have integrity here. Don't leave them. Follow up with them.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's so important that, that everything that Jessica's saying, we say this stuff all the time, but you just got to do it. And what I would like to know is there anybody on the call because Jessica, is in the health field that she may, you may have a question to ask her before she leaves the call. Anybody have a question they want to ask her?
Yes, this is Juanita.
Hi.
Hi, Jessica, did you say you put the glutathione behind the ear?
No, actually, I put the Eon behind the ear.
Okay.
The glutathione, you can put C7. I will also tell you, for anyone who has liver issues, there's a demonstration where you put the glutathione on the web of, I believe it's the right foot, right by the big toe, but in the web, and that's for the liver with the glutathione.
And you
Okay, because that's the only place I knew to put the glutathione is right there. But the Aeon behind the ear, and that helps with Parkinson's, huh? And
Yes,
you
it
said
does.
serotonin. You said serotonin?
Serotonin. Many of us are dealing with an imbalance of serotonin in our brain, and that increases brain fog. It increases dementia. But I'm finding that glutathione and the Eon, they both kind of give you more of a, mellow, kind of evens you out.
Okay, so the Eon behind the ear
Yes,
and
ma'am.
and the glutathione at the web in the foot on the right.
Yes.
that's for the
Yes.
liver though, right? That's for the liver.
That's for the liver.
For
Because
the
the glutathione, there's actually several different locations for the glutathione, but in particular, anyone who's dealing with liver who needs a detox of the liver, by the foot in the web.
Got it.
Other than that, I think you told me below the belly button for the glutathione. Is that what you told me, Jessica?
Yes, you can put the glutathione actually can be in several places, but if there's any type of liver concerns, on the web of the foot.
Mhm. Well, let me say this one more thing, and you said this
Thank you. I
earlier.
just want to say thank you before. Thank
Okay.
you so much. No,
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you.
absolutely. Absolutely.
You said this to me today, and then I was on the call, you guys, every month, David Schmidt does a connect call. Today was so good. And you know, I forget the corporate staff person asked him a question because what the questions come from the audience. And you said this as well, Jessica. You don't, I think you said, unless they've got pain with IceWave, you don't recommend any of those patches until after the first month. Is that what you told me?
Yes,
Give 'em-
because I read that the protocol is X39 for the first 30 days.
Mhm.
However, then start incorporating. So I still suggested, let's go ahead and get it now, but do your X39 for the first 30 days, and then we can start incorporating glutathione, Eon, Alavita.
Mhm. Because
Yes.
David Schmidt, his response, when they asked him the question, because they were asked about other patches on his call. And he says, well, we've had so much success with the X39. He said, there is no reason to really even think about any other patch. Everything you can imagine, the X39, he says, do that for the first 30 days, and then you can start incorporating other patches. So what I'm trying to get across to you all is that, you know, I'm just telling you because I studied it back office. So many people after the very first month, they just give up. And so they're just missing their blessing because the lady that I had on the call tonight, she was about 80 years old. And she said it was 8 months. And they said for every decade that you're alive, wear the patch for 1 month. I think there's, yeah, something like that. And she said, and it happened to me in 8 months. She says, give it a chance. She says, because she had that heart murmur and it's gone. And so so many people don't get their blessing because they only give it a month. You got to,
Yeah.
so I'm really trying to get across tonight to incorporate the reason a person would want to stay on auto-ship, not only for the health reasons, but for the financial reasons as well. So,
Absolutely.
so thank you so much, Jessica, and we look forward to you being senior director very, very soon.
Me too.
Yeah, and I'm so proud of you and Monique. Monique down there in Houston, just tearing this business up. Y'all doing meetings, every other week?
We're moving around Houston.
All
We are
right.
moving around.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're literally rotating because Houston is big like Atlanta. They're rotating locations. One week they'll have it in Sugarloaf somewhere. Or what's it called?
Sugarland.
Sugarland. We got a Sugarloaf here. And then another time it'd be Pearland the next 2 weeks or something like that. So Monique Dotson is there presenting. She does such an incredible job presenting. And with you all working as a team, I know you all are doing some great things. So thank you so much. Listen,
Thank you. Thank you, Brigida.
okay, so listen, you guys, I got some other information I want to share before we run out of time, and then I'll definitely open it up. And if I have time to do anything else, we will. But I want to remind, because some people may not even know this, you guys, the best training that you could ever get, in my opinion, in this business is going to be April 25th, 26th. All roads lead to Atlanta. Our leader, elite senior director, Ken and Lynn Robinson are hosting the event as well as me and my husband, we're senior presidential directors. And then Steve and Gina Merritt, they are the leaders of This Is a Team. You don't want to miss this event, you guys. It's only $69. All you got to do is go to Digital Alliance 101 and 101.com. No, Digital Alliance 101.com and just click on upcoming events and you'll see how to register on that. Okay, if you have any problems, call somebody to make sure you can get registered, okay? And then I wanted to say that there is a promotion going on that ends, I think it's April 27th. Listen, it's so easy to become a manager. You only need 4 people. If you can become a manager, you may have 3 already, get 1 more, and you're gonna get $100 bonus. If you're the sponsor for that person who became a manager, you're gonna get $50. If you become a director, meaning help 2 people go manager, and you go ahead and get you another person on your left and on your right, and then you're gonna get $300. If you personally sponsor somebody who becomes a director, you're gonna get $150, okay, when they become a director. So yes, you guys, let's make some noise. Let's get this money that's on the table. But next Wednesday, we will not have this call because on Sunday, Harvey and I leave for the incentive trip that the company has on the table called going to Punta Mita. I didn't even know where Punta Mita was when I heard about this trip, but I started asking because I didn't want to miss out on the trip. And I found out it was about 10 minutes away from Puerto Vallarta, which it's supposed to be like an upscale area. And so we worked hard to win this trip. And so we'll be there. I just wanted to show y'all some pictures of where we're going to be staying. Isn't this beautiful? LifeWave always puts us in they don't hold back. They treat us very well when we go on trips. And I just want to give you some pictures of some of the sites I want to make sure I go to all of these locations. This is like the little bar. You come up to the bar in the pool. I make sure I experience all of this while I'm there. This is probably at some dinner theater and getting entertainment. So with that being the case, does anybody have any questions? Or would like to, I don't know if we have any new people on the call that would like to see the Power of Six, or does anybody have any questions before we end the call? All right. Well, sounds like everybody's good. Listen, you all, thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you so much, Renee. And listen, you guys, let's take advantage of this promotion. Let's get our team members, especially the new ones, get them to come to Atlanta. It is going to be definitely blow your business up because it's going to be a 6-hour training for anyone who's a manager or above on that Friday. So if you can get to manager, you can attend the meeting. Thank you all so much for your time. We'll see you all at the top. And it will be the very top.
Thank you, Radita.
I'll give everybody.